ocote, ocote.
Can you please just hear me out?
No, all work management platforms are the same.
Monday.com is the one you'll actually love to use. Did you see the dashboards? They update in real time from your
What's happening? Are you back home?
I'm not. No. I'm still in California
it's
land.
midnight by you. One of our guests just rugged, and the other one is AWOL. So it might just be a catch-up session.
All right. What's up, beautiful people of the internet? How are all of you doing today?
Hello, bots. Hello, all. Look, we had some incredible episodes recently, and look, anytime you go on a break, you kind of take a risk of losing momentum. You know how it is. But I needed the break. Like I was in Greece with my family. And then last week, I thought I'd be in Greece, but I ended up coming home a little bit earlier. But now we're back. Now we also have holidays coming up, so it's going to be a little bit stop and start. But I think it's important to keep the consistency because the show was turning into a very powerful mindshare boost. I remember when we first started on, we had some random people, friends, scammers, different a hodgepodge of guests, and then before you know it, we were interviewing billion-dollar projects, Arbitrum and Portal to Bitcoin and big names. So I think that's definitely the direction of the show. And I also want to explore different formats of content. We do a show that's nice and cool. We get on we interview. We talk a bit about the market. We talk a bit about the projects that the clients have. But what if we did, pitch contest, and what if we did, stand-up comedy, or what if we did, I don't know, like a roast, like a lot of one format that I love is, roast my marketing. Like they get up and they'll a project will come on and it'll be like, run us through your landing page, run us through run us through all your thing. And one of the guests, it's 4 a.m. by him, but he's still awake. Hold on, let me see if this guy's coming on. Let me see. But anyway, let's see if this. Let's see about this guest. He's replying to me, but it's 4 a.m. by him. It's 12 a.m. by you.
I try to log in so I can share and stuff, and it just kicks me out while I'm doing that. Surely there must be a better way to handle that.
What you want to share?
Just to stream this to your audience button. It logs me out. It's like it kicks me off the show. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just like, I thought, like.
Yeah, I think it's a
button.
Look, I believe in like as many touch points as possible, like just kind of streaming it wide. Let's see if this guy gets on. But anyway, GM to everyone. If you're watching in the show, drop us a comment. This could just be a one-on-one kind of situation, and we do have some cool guests lined up for September before the holidays start. I thought that this week was going to be an interesting episode, but again, like, you take a risk. It's a live show. It's crypto. It's 4 a.m. for some. It's 12 p.m. for Mati. But probably a good opportunity to catch up with Mati. It's been 2 weeks since we last spoke. And first of all, I'm curious how
very eventful 2 weeks on
how's
my end.
QE coin been? Like, what's been going on with that? Like, give us a little update on that. Maybe do a Mati update on like what you can do, business by business. Go through it and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just putting together the page for QE coin on QE.finance. And building out the roadmap. Yeah, I'm happy to drop a little bit of alpha with you today. We've been talking a lot on Twitter Spaces as well, which has been our main way of sharing information about the coin. As you know, we do the daily Twitter Spaces, 1 p.m. EST, and then the Thursday one, because we have. The Wednesday is art, and we've got Monday night Bitcoin. We do a lot of different topics and stuff. So the Thursday one, that's the one where I'm actively hosting it. So we'll usually get into the QE coin and all of that kind of stuff on Thursdays. So QE was launched as a fair launch using BankerBot on Twitter. Right now there's about $500,000 in the liquidity pool. The coin went up to about $10 million market cap inside of a week. And then I don't know what happened. Like the entire crypto community gave me this giant hug. Like, man, this is so awesome. And then, as soon as they saw, okay, well, this isn't some sort of a Michael Saylor backed, pump and dump coin. They were out. As soon as I'm like, yes, so we're going to deliver real value for this coin. And people just they didn't want to hear that. So they all the Jeters were I guess it turned into a buy the rumor, sell the news event. What we're building is an institutional grade ecosystem for real world assets, complete with a launch pad, funding different projects. The first project that we're going to be launching is one that we've actually been working on the back end for about 8 months now. And this is in collaboration with Doug Hardwick, who is our CEO of Quantum Expeditions. As you know, Quantum Expeditions is a service company for oil and gas industry, utilizing excess natural gas. All of the gas companies, all of the oil companies have too much gas, and it becomes a strain on growth for them. So by utilizing it, we're not only giving them money for something that they would have otherwise burned into the atmosphere, but we're actually allowing them to drill for more oil. And that's going very well. We've done traditional crowdfund. We've raised 1.2 million from 734 investors, and we're now putting together an institutional raise as we put together our first site, which hopefully, knock on wood, we should be completely deployed on the first site by October 1st. We've already ordered the generator. We've got all of the pieces in place. We're working with best-in-class partners at every operational layer of that. And so while, I speak with Doug probably an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours a day. And while we're doing that, Doug says to me, there's this other business that he's been involved in for nearly 20 years. And it's actually like $1 trillion subset of the oil and gas industry that is just absolutely ripe for tokenization. And what he does, it's called mineral royalty properties. So in America, so you can buy a piece of land to build on, but you can also buy the rights to drill for minerals underneath the ground. So there are two separate things. So basically you buy the property rights, and then somebody else comes and they drill for oil on the property. And generally speaking, the oil operator gets about 25% of the revenue, and the property owner gets about 75%. So this is a source of passive income that is basically only for the wealthy until today. And the benefits of tokenization for these mineral royalty properties are so vast, and it's going to unlock so much value by giving access to everyone. For as little as a few dollars, you'll be able to own a piece of these properties. Expected, about 15% return annually. And the kicker is that Doug's company specializes in finding very good pieces of land that are already producing and that are very likely to produce more in the future. So these coins are going to have, first of all, anybody who's holding a coin gets that passive income to their wallet automatically. And second of all, what we're doing here is we're opening up to a secondary market. So first of all, anybody can buy and sell them at any time. In traditional finance, this is not a liquid market. You have to buy a property with all that entails, and the paperwork and the hassle and listing it. If you want to sell it, go and list it. You need to find a buyer for it, right? And so by opening that up to fractionalization, not only we allow the little buyers to come in with whatever amounts they want to, but we're also giving real-time price discovery to a market that has been in existence forever. And now people will be able to trade. Okay, so on information like, oh, there's a new oil well going on that property, and people will be able to buy in advance of that new oil well going online, or maybe that one of the oil wells is not producing as well anymore, and people will be able to put that in a matrix and trade based on that information. So that is the first RWA project that we're going to launch. hopefully within a few weeks. It shouldn't be very difficult to launch this through a private placement. So anybody who wants to learn more about that obviously is welcome to contact me or Doug in the DM. We'd be happy to
how does that relate
continue
to
that
Q? That's all
conversation.
well and good. So you're taking oil yielding properties, you're tokenizing that, you're giving people an opportunity. How does that relate to the Q equate?
Yeah, so in the beginning, a portion of the profits that we're making through the real world assets will be used to buy back and burn. In the future, we'll without revealing too much, we'll make it more and more integrated.
Yeah, I hear you. Because it sounds like it's a security what you're doing. With the whole oil owning property, like it doesn't sound like something, especially since it's the U.S. It sounds like it's definitely a security.
Yeah, well, I'm not a lawyer, but we do have a lawyer that's working with us. Hopefully, we'll be able to put his name on the project as well very soon. There's two versions of this, and I mean you're kind of I like the way you're kind of coaxing our roadmap out of me, and that's fine. We're going live first with the regulatory light version, which is the private placement. So that is something that we're absolutely allowed to do without any issues. It just means that we can't market it publicly. We can't say, hey, everybody can come and buy this. We can't sell the tokens to the general public. But anybody who is interested, we can take unlimited accredited investors and up to 30 unaccredited investors from the US. And each country has a limit that they can do. But, practically speaking, we can onboard 100, 200 customers just to get this thing up and running. And once we're producing, then we can go for the regulatory heavy version. It's a lot more expensive, legal and accounting fees and stuff like that, but well worth it to be able to open that up as publicly registered securities.
Yeah, so I hear. Yeah, it makes sense to start because anything with profit share, you wading into illegal landmine, but I'm sure you have that covered. This is great for the title of the show because the title of the show is Tokenize Everything, and obviously, I try to find a link. Our guests, both have seemingly like us for today, were from very different fields, but both involved with tokenizing and real world assets is coming on chain, and obviously, people are tokenizing creators and people are tokenizing a whole bunch of stuff, and I think the underlying, I was thinking on holiday, I was trying to think, have some time to reflect and what am I bullish on for the next 5 years? And obviously the word Bitcoin came up, something I have conviction in for the next 5 years. I don't know how or when or why, how to build a business around that right now because Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It sits in your wallet, number goes up.
You can start a treasury company.
Yeah,
seems to be popular these days.
But then another thing I'm bullish on is not a specific niche, but it's the trend of hyper speculation. I think, we started off in COVID when people were getting their stimulus checks and they were stuck at home. But I think automation will either make people more productive at work and free up their time, or it will make people more redundant at work and then completely free up their time. Plus, the fact that inflation and automation together join to make a situation where you cannot live the standard of living your parents had by just coasting along, right? Plus, you have, your job isn't as secure as it was before. Plus, you have also the means. You have the platforms out there, prediction market, and there's all different types of prediction market popping up. Like poly market started off like you can bet on the news, but then there's other things on you can bet on what people prefer more, chocolate or vanilla ice cream. And if your bet wins, You can make some. So there's everyone's betting on everything. Fantasy football is coming on trend. Like
Yeah.
everyone's betting on everything. Everyone wants to hyper speculate. Kind of, and that's, I think, a trend that definitely popping up. Like, you're focusing more on the sort of the real world implications right now, but there's a world out there. I think it's all going to come together. Like, I could imagine a token like, your sort of oil well token being used in DeFi, for example, being used as collateral for
It's generational wealth, dude. This is like something that the rich people have been doing very successfully for generations, for decades, for literally, and I can't tell you what it means to open that up to everybody. For me, that's like, it's not the end goal of all of that I want to get accomplished, but it's a very significant step in that direction. And I think that it's something that absolutely people in the crypto market have been thirsty for. Over the last few months, I've noticed like a lot of people saying, okay, real world assets in the closet over there, in the closet. And passive income that's based on something that's not DeFi related, because just about every DeFi related platform, where does the money come from? It comes from trading fees, right? That's it. That's what it is. It's all speculation on speculation on speculation. It's a castle built in the clouds, in the closet. That's not a closet. That's a room. Yeah, close that door. Behind that door is a closet. That's where you'll find the diapers. In the box, the blue box.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's like people who are culturally astute. There's never been the developers, I think, are going to be, everything's being automated essentially by ChatGPT. But the one thing that I think the AIs are going to be lagging at is like having their finger on the cultural pulse. Like, if you can have like some sort of insight into where culture is going, like what culture, geopolitics, like where like the zeitgeist is going, and you can bet on that early. I think you have. I think those people are going to be, cultural speculators. That's going to be the people who benefit from the most. And if you can tap into those trends and then also communicate them outwards, then you can win double. You can win as a cultural speculator and also as a culture maker. Like, that's really, like Donald Trump, if he had to be like, if he was interested in that, or like people around him, like for him, playing poly market isn't even a challenge, because like he can buy the, is Russia going to nuke Ukraine? So he can buy the no he can buy the yes at a very cheap rate, and then he can start shit talking Putin and forcing him into a corner, and then Putin says something about nuking Ukraine, and suddenly the yes jumps, on poly market. So you have people that can actually, once you get good enough at predicting culture, you can actually influence it, and that's where I think the real money is made. I don't think AI will influence culture on its own autonomously for a while. Like they tried, like in the AI XBT and all those slop agents on Twitter. Anyway, I'm talking to myself now. That's kind of hello everybody. Mati is gone for a minute, so I'm talking to myself now. I want to get more content done where I demo things, where I demo something like Kaito. A new platform came out with something like Ira. Go through info file platforms. But yes, Mati, I was scared when you if you see yourself and you have people listening in, like, what do I talk to myself about? But yeah, thank you for coming.
Sorry about that. My internet crapped out for a second. What's been happening with world liberty? Keep seeing it all over my feed. I haven't had a chance lately because
so let's maybe open up a chart and see let the numbers talk, because basically World Liberty Finance is basically like an Aave fork. There isn't really any technology behind it. It's just a company. They bought a bunch. They have a treasury. They manage some sort of treasury, right? Let's see the chart. It looks ugly. Obviously, we're gonna look at like a 15-minute chart because it just launched yesterday. But $230 million volume in a 24-hour volume. But the chart looks pretty ugly. Let's open that up.
So, is it a rug or what's the?
It's not a rug. I mean, what's a rug? Define a rug. Okay, we come into this a lot, but like, it's not. It's a company that has treasuries. They do buy treasury assets, right? So, World Liberty Financials, they hold crypto over 46 million, right? And a significant portion of that is USD1, which is their own stable coin. They raised they have half of their holdings is in their own stable coin, right? Which is probably backed by USD, right?
Probably.
They raised $550 million, right? Their platform is just Aave. It's an Aave fork, right? World Liberty Financial. So it's an Aave fork that holds $200 million worth of their own stable coin, that hold $200 million of other crypto assets like Ethereum and and Aave, and they have a market cap. Right, their market cap, it probably puts them in the top. Let's see where they are. Top 24, right? So they have a $6 billion market cap, and they have a FTV of $24 billion. So this is a company that raised $550 million, and the valuation is now $6 billion. So that's a bit of a 12x in a couple months. Some people were able to get into the pre-sale. So the World Liberty Finance, they actually did a pre-sale, and a lot of people faded that pre-sale because they thought like, oh, what do the Trumps know about crypto? But again, this is the point. If you need to be on the, and a lot of people also are scarred by celebrity memes, right? But you need to kind of distinguish between celebrities that come in with like hot air and then the Trumps. Like the Trumps, they know how to operate. They know how to. I think what the Trumps, they know where the line is between like fake it till you make it and just being a complete fraud. Like they play that line between, they play that line very, very well. Like they bought just enough crypto in a treasury, and they have just enough of a product to be able to pass themselves off as a legit company. But there's no way an Aave fork is worth $24 billion FTV. Like Aave is I think World Liberty Finance has a bigger FTV than Aave. Like, let me just double check that. But I think that would be the first case in history where a fork has a bigger market cap has a bigger. Yeah, so World Liberty Finance has a market cap of $6 billion, and Aave has a market cap of 4.7. What that means is that they copy-pasted a protocol, copy-pasted a protocol. They have, the TVL probably is non-existent. Right?
Yeah,
So
but
if you
they also have some assets in treasury, right? So does ownership of the coin equal ownership of the underlying assets? Is that how it works, or is that unrelated?
So again, like there's no TVL. It doesn't seem like there's any TVL for World Liberty Finance. Like it seems like they own $200 million of their own stable coin. right? USD1. USD1 has a market cap of $100 billion, which I don't know how that works, but total supply $100 billion, right? So that's a crazy, crazy amount.
Well, they don't have $100 billion
$100 billion.
backing
I don't know how that
backing
works.
the stable coin.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know if they're backing it. I don't know how that works. That's pretty insane. What does that even mean?
it means that it's a fraud.
I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. Like
Well,
100
I'll
billion
tell you
dollars.
what, there like that's not necessarily worth than the US dollar, you know. So when people buy US dollars or whatever, it's not like that there's anything actually intrinsically backing those dollars. And so I'm of the mind that as long as the stable coin has enough belief that it's a stable coin for the arbitrage traders to come in and iron out any mismatch in pricing, then it works.
So you're saying that a
people,
stable coin doesn't need to be backed? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I've always been of that opinion, and especially when people get on the case of like Tether and USDT, and people are like, well, is it backed? Is it not backed? Do they have the assets? Do they not? Like, it doesn't matter. If the market believes that this coin is worth $1, then the coin is worth $1. It doesn't matter what's backing it or not backing it. Because what happens is if the coin goes down to 85 cents, as it has before, people are going to buy it back up to $1, because who's not going to buy $1 for 85 cents? Right?
Dave has an open position at 21 cents. That's good. I mean, you're already up. Dave is already up over 10%. So if you're more than 10x leverage, you've doubled your money. So congrats, Dave. But I would, take it. All depends on where the market goes. Like if Bitcoin goes higher, I think this could have a run. But again, look at the Trump coin. Like these things have a very short lifespan.
But no, the Trump coin is you have to put a hard line here. So Trump coin is a meme coin. The only thing that ever supported it is hype, and hype alone. And hype is temporary. There's no long-term value of a Trump coin, because you know that in 30 years from now nobody's going to give a shit. Guaranteed, right? However, a company that has assets and is utilizing those assets for growth and building something and seeing revenues, and that can grow over 20, 30, 40, 100 years if it has solid foundations. So I'm not saying that this is a good investment and that's a bad investment, but what I'm saying is you have to put a hard line between the difference between Trump coin and something like World Liberty Finance. Now you have to analyze World Liberty Finance, and I haven't had clearly any chance of doing so before our live stream. Oz Sultan actually put a blog up on Quantum Economics Medium page, which I'm frantically trying to go through to get more information, as at least can figure out, at least I can portray that I know what the fuck I'm talking about here. But my point is that you can analyze the company, analyze its assets, and I mean, as you've already pointed out, well, if it has, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you're saying, okay, it has a few $100 million in assets and a few billion in market cap. Well, clearly there's a mismatch in, and I also want to know if, and that's very important, if the holding the tokens means that the assets that are under management or how they're connected, right? Do the token holders?
Dave is saying that there's no, the treasury assets are not paid to token holders. So
right.
World Liberty Financial, it got zero utility. It's a hype coin. It's 100% hype coin, And now you said something about a good investment, bad investment. All of these coins are a bad investment. If you're buying to hold it for 10 years, it's a bad investment. Except for maybe Ethereum, maybe Solana, maybe Hyperliquid. Those are the only three that I would say might be good investment. Is it a good trade? That depends on your entry point, right? That depends on your entry point. Like, and Dave makes point. Like, it doesn't make like people. Yesterday, my brother like messaged me. You know, he's talking to some TradFi friends of his, and like they want to know how can they calculate TradFi, like, you know, modeling, you know, stock modeling equations on crypto. And I'm like, that don't exist, because no one's valuing. Like, I remember learning the Intelligent Investor, reading that book by Buffett, and it's full of, you know, different equations and how to discounted cash flows and how to value. No one's using that for crypto. Crypto is all about, as I said before, it's about gauging the sentiment, understanding when it's getting to a point that it's like low enough, about to bounce, and buying at that point. And when people are, you can make much more money, you know, trying to understand, like, you know, counter trading crypto Twitter's sentiment. So when people are talking about taking profit, that's when you buy. When people are posting screenshots of their jewelry, that's when you sell. You can make more money doing that than trying to understand the ins and outs of whatever. Yeah. So it's that's what I'm saying. And so kudos to Dave for coming up and dropping some questions. It's 4:30 by him, and he's leverage trading shitcoins on Hyperliquid. Never change. But yeah, I think it's for me. I don't know about World Liberty Financial. I'm personally, I'm staying away. I just don't see like how the R&R is in your favor when you're dealing with something that's a $24 billion FTV. Like, it's not going to run to $100 billion FTV. Like, you're not getting a 4x here. Maybe you're getting a 2x. Maybe. And so what are you risking? You're risking quite a bit of money. So, like, I'd rather look for like a, you know, other plays like that are pre-pump, like, you know, wait for the next narrative. One thing that I'm watching quite closely now is the bio agent, like a decentralized science. That's been pretty, like, I haven't actually taken any position, but it's something that's really, really interesting. It's a sort of like AI agents, but science based. So it's like all these projects that are doing token offerings to raise money for scientific discovery. Again, like, I don't know what the actual financial value of it is. It's about trying to predict, like, can this thing become a trend? Can this thing become you know, grab money?
Who's working on this at the moment?
Let me show you this bio. So
because I do have somebody I'm talking to on the back end who's got is working on lab rats and got some breakthroughs hopefully coming out. So
this is bio. Bio is like you can trade these agents or these DAOs that are related to science. So this DAO, for example, it's a token, right? Open source R&D network where patients and researchers collaborate to develop treatments for hair loss, right? I don't know what the token means. Like, I don't think like, if they develop the treatment, I don't know if you'll get revenue in that. Again, like, this is cultural speculation. Like, for me, like, I might buy this because there's a big bit on Twitter, right, that is related to people being bald. So maybe that's interesting.
The token price looks like my hairline, buddy.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if this could be, like, zoom out a little bit, like,
okay, that's not volatile.
So bad. You know, like, this is a volatile thing that might be worth trading up and down. The bio token itself had a very big pump recently, but this is kind of like something that's something interesting. Like, this could become like the next sort of virtuals. Like, virtuals is no more anything. Blue Scorpion, yeah. Dave is giving us alpha. Blue Scorpion. He actually, you were meant to send me. Dave was meant to send me a box of this scorpion venom to treat my Crohn's. I don't know where it maybe got lost in the mail, but yeah, Dave is 4:30 in the morning and he's shilling scorpion venom tokens on a live stream. He won't even come on and put his face to it so that we can know who it is when it dumps. But this is DeSci. It's interesting to me. I don't know. The market caps are still pretty small. When you think about AI XBT and all the AI agents, they ran to like $100 million market cap. So, you know, it might be worth taking a look. You know, something like that. But I don't know. For me, like right now, I'm still a bit upset that I'm not a pro leverage trader on perps and whatever. I'm better to wait, like conserve your money. And all this, just FYI, if you're at home and you're thinking, wow, let me take all my pension money and put it into some hair loss coin on this. This is just us exploring things that are cool. We are not giving any financial advice. None of us are. First of all, I'm sorry for putting you on blast, Dave. I love you. You're a great guy. Thank you for sharing alpha. It's all fun and game.
One thing that I would,
yeah,
you know,
NFA. Just let's finish the disclaimer. NFA. Me personally, I probably put maybe 2%, 3% of my entire portfolio into these plays. It's more to test out. Once I know that I'm capable of you know generating above average returns, I'll be more advanced and I'll start to trade more actively and more publicly. But for now, I buy and hold crypto and I play around just to kind of keep myself relevant and keep myself fresh.
Yep. Well, I mean, one thing that I realized, you know, back in 2017, when I saw a lot of people just trying out tokens just for the fun of it, and I remember one of my friends had a spreadsheet of like all of the coins that he, you know, put a few $100s on. And I'm like, what's this one? What's that one? And he couldn't explain half of them to me. And I'm like, what are you, dumb? Like, why are you investing in these things? You have no idea what they are. He's like, it's only $100 each. It's like, who cares? You know? And I realized that, you know, you get enough people who have that mindset about, okay, it's only $100, who cares? Hey, you've got, you know, a few $100 million market cap before not too long. So it's not always, you know, it's just it's funny that, you know, just thinking about the dynamic of markets, like, and how a coin that maybe doesn't have any utility, maybe doesn't have any you know, it doesn't have any real real backing. It has a treasury that's apparently unrelated to the token itself, and somehow you get, like, you know, a fork of Aave that's more valuable than Aave itself. It's because people are dumb, but more than that, they're playing the risk, right? They say, okay, well, it's not. I'm only putting 1 or 2% of my total portfolio on this, so who cares if I fail? I'll fail. That's fine. But if it does a 10x, I got to be part of it. They get that FOMO. I think that's a big part of what makes crypto is a big part of what makes this industry so exciting, right?
Yeah, I think. Look, I agree with you. I think there's a risk to taking a lot of small bets because eventually they add up and you just find yourself drained. Dave is telling us that the upcoming meta is prediction market. We have had myriad markets on the show before. It's something that I want to play as well, prediction markets. But you know, I don't know how do you get upside to prediction market. Like, you can get involved in myriad, like earn some points. Maybe you can get the airdrop. But you know, like Polymarket don't have a token. Myriad don't have a token. Like you know, prediction market. It's cool as a meta, but you can't take a directional bet on prediction market now. You can you can play in the prediction market, but then you know you have to have some. I remember, hey, Dave is on. Well, you have to have some. I have a friend who actually he put money on Yahya Sinwar being out as the leader of Hamas, or 3-1 odds, or like 4-1 odds. He put like $200 and he won. He made bank when the guy got shot out. So, Dave, what's up, mate?
What's up, boys? How we doing? You hear me okay?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Loud and
Tell us
clear.
how we can take a directional bet on prediction market.
What's up, bro? I'm telling you, prediction markets and stuff. But Mate, what's going on, dude? It was good. Yeah, man. 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, dude. I think everywhere I'm looking now and everywhere I'm listening is prediction markets, and I think it's going to be bigger than people even anticipate, because you're talking about upending, I mean, like sports gambling in the United States. You know what I mean? Like 40% of the population here doesn't have access, and like FanDuel and DraftKings are $100 billion behemoths combined. And I think we're just getting started with this stuff. You see the Trumps now sitting on poly market boards buying stakes. So, bro, follow the Trumps, bro. Follow Eric and follow Don Jr. and they will lead you to money. That's it. It's just like that. Just follow where they go and just see if you can make plays. But yeah, I think prediction markets is going to be a monster out here.
You know that those people are extracting value to the system rather than adding it, right?
100%. But you just got to be smart enough to know exactly what place to get into and when to get into them. Like this is what I'm telling you guys. Like, trying to make sense of crypto is literally like saying, oh, like do this Rubik's Cube 10 times in a row in 50 different ways. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Crypto doesn't make sense right now. It doesn't operate off of fundamentals. You know what I mean? If that's what people want to invest in, buy Bitcoin, sit back, chill, relax, and like, okay, you're good. You know what I mean? But if you're going to look at like really where some of these other plays are happening and some of these metas are happening, like this is where a lot of the outsized returns are going to come. I do not disagree with you. Like, I agree with you 1000%. But at the end of the day, there also is real tech behind a lot of these. And if you can get in early enough with you know, and you do enough work.
Wait. Is there real tech behind World Liberty
Market?
Finance?
No. World Liberty? No.
Okay.
I'm talking Polymarket prediction.
No. So Polymarket, sure. If you're investing in the platform of Polymarket, I think that's a good play. But just to like take prediction bets on Polymarket, I mean, it's essentially gambling. I mean, if you like doing that and you have the money for it and you understand that you're you know, like likely to lose it, you know, I have no problem with doing that.
I am not saying go take the prop bets on Polymarket. I'm saying find the not within the platform, so you could just be a degen. I'm saying like when I see Coinbase, I see Base App, I see Kalshi, I see prediction markets and Polymarket. Where is like
does Polymarket have their own coin that you can invest in?
Where can I take a directional bet? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
How can I bet on this meta?
Exactly.
You know, if you want an AR beta, I could buy virtuals. I could buy whatever. Like, what can I do now with prediction markets?
So to me, when I see the writing on the wall, and full disclosure, like I own some of these, but let me just not even mention tokens. But here's the general what's it called, so it doesn't come across as shill. For me, I look at AI and prediction markets go hand in hand, right? The Coinbase app, right? Like the Base app now has access to so many different tokens across I don't know how many different pools. If we think that AI to try and make things simple in the Base app for the normies is not Coinbase's priority, we're crazy. And the chief product officer for Coinbase actually came out and said, like, this is going to be a thing. We are going heavy on prediction markets. You combine that with AI and you see it already in the Base app, right? Like you see AI being used, being able to just talk on the timeline, right? Like on X, or being able to talk in an application via chat and execute crypto trades. I'm not saying that tech is baked out and it's fully there. But again, this is a hype thing in the beginning until it weeds out like who are the actual real players. But if you can find ones with the right partnerships, like who's partnered with Kalshi, who's partnered with Coinbase, who got money from Coinbase. To me, that's where the meta's at.
Yeah, I want to show you guys what the real new meta is, and that is football.fun. Who's playing football.fun? I got points. I got tournament points. My brothers and I have a squad. 3 of us were playing. We put on Dembele, right? Basically, our thinking was like this. You want to play French players because it's a farmers league, right? And PSG are levels above the competition. But like we started off again, this is very, very light playing. Once I get heavy and I start putting proper money in, I'm not going to share my screen. But you see, the squad value is $20. It used to be $40 to halve. You know, I'm wrecked, but I'm loving to play the game. I think this game will have it had like a 2-week hype, 1-week hype period, and then it died down. But I think now is a great time to play the game. And it comes down to what we were saying earlier, the tokenization of everything. People want to speculate. They want to make money on speculation, whether it's on the news, whether it's on games, whether it's on trends, whether it's on Taylor Swift's engagement, and anything that people can speculate on, they want to speculate. It adds a sort of skin in the game to everything that we were doing, you know, for fun before that anyway. So I'm very bullish on that, and hopefully we'll find a way to get, you know, access to prediction markets and take a directional bet. Dave, while I have you on, what else is happening? What else are you checking? What else are you looking at? Last time it was Agent Hustle and AIs, and now what? What's new in the hood?
Yeah, so I discovered a new tool that I just started working with and really start diving into. So it's called Trader, and it's essentially the kind of the normies, like DeFi AI, you know, the DEF AI plays, right? To me, and it's like, I mean, to me, it's fully encompassing. You guys have obviously heard of BankerBot. I think this is a much more robust alternative. It's across 20 or like 19 or 20 different chains, and you can do so many things with this. I think this is the kind of stuff that I don't want to say onboard the masses, because I just think it's a stupid term. Like, I think it makes life a lot easier, because like I rolled it out, like I'm starting to roll it out to my community, and people are being super responsive to like genuinely what it is.
Can you mint a coin with a tweet?
That's one of the features, but I don't even talk about that. Like, I could give two shits about any of that. I want to teach people how to like move money between wallets, right? Like put money on different chains, how to actually talk to these robots so that they can actually learn a skill and also like be able to maintain. I tell them not to maintain big balances. It's just mostly it's learning stuff now, right? Like, I'm not telling anybody, you don't put more than a few $100 on these things until you start kind of getting the flow of it. But I think like as this grows, and now again, like you're going to see this all intertwined, like they're now going to be integrating prediction markets also. So, you know, for me, it's all about aligning with the right people and the right projects. And when you meet devs, like I vet devs super thorough to make sure that it's not like some just bullshit, like fly by night type of deal where it's like, oh, you got some fancy promo, whatever. I like this because like talking with these guys for the last 3 weeks and really getting into, because like I test this stuff myself. I break the shit out of these things, and I'm just like, like this is what's wrong. This is what we need to change. This is what you have going great. This is what's not good. This is what people can have issue with. But I think if people actually try and test this stuff out, I think they'll see like it makes like crypto and using crypto so much easier, because let's be honest, Privy changed the game with custodial wallets, right? But you can still now have an extractor keys if you want to move it off. No 12-word seed scalable thing. It just wasn't. You know what I mean? It really just was not a scalable thing. But you know, just looking at like perspective, and then is sense for right now, because I'm seeing BankerBot at 50, 80. I think it was almost close to 100 million at one point. These guys don't have a token yet, which I love. I'm not out here trying to drive a token price. We're just trying to push the product and onboard some people. So like for me, like that's really, really paramount above anything else. But yeah, that's kind of the one thing I'm going to be digging on. And Hyperliquid, man. Hyperliquid. Like I listened to a bunch of spaces from some of these TradFi bros, and these seasoned TradFi bros, right? Like Flowers from like former head of Barclays Bank, like that invested in this. And Hyperliquid as an exchange, I think people don't understand yet. So I'm starting a new series, little shill, I guess, this next week called DeFi for Dummies. Really extrapolating all this shit out. I think there's massive opportunity to be had on Hyperliquid. So I don't know. I see it as also like a new play, and like devs don't get help on Hyperliquid. Like nobody gets help on Hyperliquid, and ridiculous and $10 million annually, just on the Hyperliquid exchange. So I don't know. That like for me, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like DeFi AI agents and a lot of like new ecosystem stuff with Hyperliquid. Playing around.
Yeah, I'm also kind of hard.
Nice.
I think it's, yeah, I think I'm also looking more seriously at Hyperliquid, especially Project X over there. I think Hyperliquid, like, you just gotta, there's so much noise in crypto, and sometimes it doesn't hurt to like click some buttons, maybe you'll get some airdrops, but in terms of like where you focus most of your time, like, you just gotta bet on the winning horse. Like, it's just always been the case. Like, the winning horse, there's a few of them. Like, Solana has this moment, bet on Solana. Now it's Hyperliquid. Like, just, you don't have to kind of go too down, too down the risk curve. Sen is asking about ordinals. Man, I have my puppet, rocking my puppet proudly, and I will do so till the day I die, but God knows if I'll ever be able to sell that for half a Bitcoin like I was last year. That was a crazy round trip. I think Bitcoin ecosystem is it's already in the we've dropped to the lows, and now we're kind of consolidating lower, which is never a good sign. And the infighting in the community doesn't really help much, between runes and ordinals enjoyers and everything, and just kind of I don't know. I'm not so bullish in the short term. Long term, I think cultural assets have their place on Bitcoin. So yeah, we could hopefully see a recovery. Mati was also there at the beginning of ordinals on Bitcoin and on Dogecoin.
Yeah, that was a round trip. Yep.
Yeah, that was a round trip. Dave, of course, as well, has a few war stories from round tripping BTC assets. But yeah, I'm not gonna take off my PFP of a Puffet, because like I want to be Bitcoin aligned. That's where I am. That's who I am. And I think I think Bitcoin is getting a lot of attention on the yield generation side. Lombard private sale pre-sale was 400% oversubscribed. It's about to end today. Babylon, had a TGE recently. You have XBTC from OKX. You have a Solana DeFi incorporating Bitcoin, and there's just a disconnect. Like, all the people that are building Bitcoin DeFi, none of them have ordinals PFP. So there's a massive disconnect between the yield generation Bitcoin DeFi and the cultural Bitcoin DeFi. And I don't know, that needs to be bridged. Like, in my opinion, if you're a founder of just like, Ethereum or base founders are rocking Pudgy Penguin, or they're rocking, if you're building on Solana, like they're rocking Mad Labs, or if you're building on Bitcoin, your PFP should be on Bitcoin. Like, it seems simple, but that's just like not happening. So, that's what I would like to see. More founders, more Bitcoin founders sort of embracing the ordinals way of life, and then we might see a little bit of a pump. But if builders on your own chain, like the 24/7 trench warriors that are building on your Bitcoin, if those guys are not rocking ordinals, then what hope do we have for ordinals to run?
Just the
anyone else have something to say about ordinals summer before we log off? It's coming to the end of our hour. We had our 2 guest rugs, but we got 1 for the price of 2, and it was all worth it. Thank you to Dave for joining us at such an early hour.
Appreciate you, bro. I was gonna ask if you were infofying still. I didn't know what the story was with infofy. You still yapping and quacking and snapping?
Yeah, so InfoFi, like I'm gonna, I'm obviously waiting for a Portal TGE tomorrow. That's going to be a big one. There's a new platform that launched yesterday called IRA. I see every day a new platform launching. Like Warchain, I've started to pay a little bit more attention to, especially Genome Project over there, which is like a GameFi platform. Cookie, I love the Cookie team. Like Philip was one of our best interviews. The Cookie CEO, he's a proper Chad, and he's very down to earth, and he wants builders and he wants yappers to succeed. But I just don't see anything juicy on that anyway. Now we're also building some stuff, like at Wengro, like we're building some. I wouldn't say info for our platform, but we want to kind of build tools to help our community win on InfoFi, and I think the real, and I'm going to write about this soon, but the real trick on InfoFi is to, if it's not a game that you can play by yourself. It's a game that you want to, you're playing with both friends, like peers that can amplify your message, but also a community. Like if you have a community behind you, it's much easier to generate mindshare as a community, and so that's kind of what I want to, kind of the vision, to have like a tools for a community and have that community work in tandem. Because my ultimate aim is to be able to go to projects and say, listen, we can actually, the holy grail is to be able to say, listen, this is the campaign we ran for a project. The budget was very, very little compared to other budgets, and we managed to get onto Kaito's pre-TGE leaderboard or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like once you show that, you want to be able to show, like for a lot of my career, it's been like, I can do this kind of XYZ for you in terms of, I can do this many tweets, I can do that, but that's like level 1 of marketing of work. Level 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is when you can actually point to something and say, this is when we took over the timeline, and this is when we managed to hijack the mindshare on pre-TGE and drive 10x more signups, And I used to think that there's a secret sauce, there's a magic potion that the big KOLs have, but it's really not. It's just a combination of doing a lot of little things right over a long period of time, right? Having the network in place to amplify that, and then getting to work. And that's kind of where I'm thinking InfoFi. I think obviously getting on more leaderboards is interesting to me, but what's much more interesting to me, and that's why I want to sort of quote unquote hack the mindshare system, is because once you hack it, it's not, yes, you can get some airdrops, but it's much more interesting to be able to go to companies and say, this is the playbook that we use to generate mindshare for this company, and then there's no limit to how much money projects will pay for that kind of mindshare brokering. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, man. I agree. I could talk InfoFi obviously like all day, but that I love what you're doing at Wengro. I think it is key. I think what you've managed to do too that I think people underestimate is your Telegram is popping off 24/7. Like legit, every single day I wake up, there's 50,000 Wengro messages, and I'm just like, I don't know how y'all keep up with any of it, but I think you're cultivating like a good, solid crew of people, like a good foundation, and I think that's massively, massively key. Because, bro, like I read a lot of shit about on CT. I read a lot of stuff about founders and what makes great teams and everything else, and where things are going. And I read a super interesting one that Balaji put out where he's like, the people that galvanize community on social platforms are going to be the kingmakers of tomorrow. And I'm just like, that's kind of crazy to say, but that makes sense to me, right? In a world of like advancing AI, it's the ones that have the minds and the ears, right? Or and like the eyes of like the general public, or like any sort of community in any fashion, are the ones that are going to be able to really drive like value, and the ones that are going to be in demand. So I love it, bro. I'm glad to obviously be a part of the When Grow community, so I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man, I love it, dude. And just FYI on the Bitcoin thing, have you ever heard of Glock? GLOCK by Alpen Labs.
GLOCK, Glock. I've not heard of Glock.
Yeah, so it's this new protocol, this new Alpen Lab. So what they're doing is just really quickly. If you want, I'm hosting them tomorrow, but like it's a whole new primitive called Glock. It's essentially this whole thing that makes like off-chain. You know how like everyone's doing this off-chain computation now, like whether it's in ZK proofs or whatever. So like the whole thing is like lower the cost of computation off-chain so that we can start putting the rails in place like on Bitcoin. And apparently these are some of the smartest guys out here, some MIT dudes, SpaceX, Blockstream guys. So I don't know much about it. I just started digging into the white paper the last 48 hours, but it looks interesting. So yeah, I don't know what this is, but it could be something. And these dudes are raising money out here. So if they're raising tens of millions of dollars, I kind of want to pay attention to see what they're cooking.
Yeah, send me an invite. I wanna hop on.
100%.
I mean, listen, and also Sen wants to know when the space is. So you could even drop it in the comments of on the live show on X. But one indictment against, like, for me last year when I was much more active in runes, like I always used to say, USDT is gonna come to runes, and USDT did come to Bitcoin, but they're using a completely different protocol. They're not even using the runes protocol. They're using something called RGB, which I'm not even 100% clear on that. So again, like I think Bitcoin. I think if I had to point to one major issue with Bitcoin assets is the fragmentation. That there's just so many standards, like and that kind of results of it's kind of a downside of Bitcoin's decentralized nature. Because with Ethereum, you had at the time when ERC20s came out and whatever, you had the Ethereum Foundation had a ton of control, right, and consensus, and like the co-founders, they had a ton of control, so they could kind of also Solana, they could kind of agree like this is the token standard that we're using. With Bitcoin, there isn't really a Bitcoin organization, so every person's coming out with their own token standard, and you had Taproot assets, and you had runes and BRC20s and ordinal and various different and like it just the centralized exchanges. Never mind the centralized exchanges. The Bitcoin ecosystem projects can't keep up with all these technical adaptations and whatever. So I hope to see a lot more consolidation in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and also kind of just the question of like what is Bitcoin good for. So meme coins have no place on Bitcoin. It's not 10-minute block times don't make sense for meme coins. But I think that's why I'm still bullish on ordinals. I think like having a cultural asset inscribed in BTC is something attractive to me. Maybe having higher value asset inscribed in BTC. But I'm keen to hear about Glock. I love gun names.
Trolling. Yeah, could definitely come through. I was trolling a bunch of people last week because you saw that obviously the Trump administration is now putting GDP data on blockchain, right? And they're putting it on 9 different chains. And we were like, well, what are these 9 different chains, and why are they putting it on all these different chains? Like what sense does this make? But one of the chains was Bitcoin. And one of my guys, Crypto Landy, was essentially like, what protocol do you think they're going to use to put it on Bitcoin? And I'm like, I get it. Like maybe like they will use ordinal protocol, right? Like that makes sense to me. I trolled them and I was like, my title was they went with BRC 2.0, not ordinals. But it's going to be really interesting to see.
What's the difference though? Who gives a shit? Which protocol they use?
For me and you, Matthew, I could give 2 shits as long as it's on Bitcoin. I don't care what you use, but at the end of the day, if it's going on Bitcoin, put it to use, man. Because I don't know, like. The scarcity matters. Bitcoin, great, amazing, yada yada. But I think what Wall Street is showing us now is Ethereum is the darling of TradFi right now because of the utility. There needs to be something built. Like Bitcoin has to put in some rails, and like Jack Dorsey says all the time, like Bitcoin needs to be useful. We need to make it useful some way somehow. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how
it already is useful. I don't, useful as a store of value, useful as a means of exchange. And even a unit of account. So I mean, I don't know what more value you need on it. Obviously, I like the idea that there's mementos on Bitcoin. I think that's not only novel, but if you want any sort of digital memento and you want it to last 100 or 1,000 years, your best bet is Bitcoin, because there's no other that you're nearly guaranteed that. And I really enjoyed being a part of the ordinals in the beginning, because like it was clear that Bitcoin was making a shift in direction, and I wanted to be part of that, which is a large part of why I didn't sell any of my early ordinal assets, which, man, they were ridiculous. I mean, I could have had another 100 grand in the bank easily, if I would have started selling at the peak there. But obviously, hindsight is always 2020. But in another way, I'm kind of glad that happened like that, because it just kind of shows us the way that the markets breathe, and the way that assets, they tend to go way overboard, way underboard, and sometimes there's the resurgence can be much stronger than the original wave, such as the dot-com bubble. But that tends to happen only when there's real growth happening, beneath the surface.
Yeah, I agree with you. What the one thing, the key piece that you said to me when I hear it is, I could have had an extra 100 grand in the bank. When you start saying I could have had an extra Bitcoin in the bank, that's when I know that Bitcoin is going to be really useful. When we start saying it, right, like that,
Yeah.
that to me is when it's really going to be like next level.
Yeah, if I sold my ordinals, I would have had extra Bitcoin in the bank. But that's a story for another time. Thank you, Mati. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Breakfast Show. Dave, I'll check you on a Spaces, Mati as well. We'll see you all on the timeline. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Thanks, boys.